Our next case study is taking a look at building an esports and gamer news network. I was amazed at the Blizzard tour yesterday that there's a press room. I guess this is a big thing where there's journalists, and it's a whole thing. It is amazing how much it echoes and really sort of echoes the regular sports world, if you will. So with that said, I want to introduce Glenn Maxlow, who is business development for graphics for Avid. And Glenn is going to reluctantly stay on the stage, but also just introduce our panelists. So please welcome Glenn Maxlow.
Thank you. I'm not going to take much of the time here, but I just want to say thank you to everyone for being here today. Thank you for SVG for putting on this great event. Avid's very proud to be here. And we're also very proud in our sponsorship and the partnership that we have with Gamer World News. So I'm not going to take any more time away from Gayle and Rob. I'll let you guys go ahead and kick it off.
Good afternoon. I think the best thing for me to do is to just kind of give you an idea of what happened and how it all came about. So this started actually as a journey from 2014 when I realized that there was really no news source for the esports and gamer world. And by clarifying that, I just like to say my background's TV syndication, so I'm basically a pitch girl and I'm a news junkie. So I was reading an article in the New Yorker magazine about a young girl who grew up in Canada with her parents decided to wire all their computers together and not let them watch television, which was upsetting to me to read, but it actually paid off because she went on to become the #1 StarCraft 2 player in the world. Her name is Scarlett. She's made a few $1 million, I'm sure, by now. And that really kind of got me thinking, where does the news live? Where does the culture, the lifestyle pieces, beyond esports, which is, the professional competitive side, where does the casual game, news live? Where does the competitive games news live? So I went on kind of a quest to not only find out that there was nothing at the time, but there was really a need for a news source that I thought was unbiased, unfiltered, and could kind of create these short, what I call potato chip news style formatted news stories that would not only speak to the esports vertical, but to all of the other games out there. And I always tell this, I appear regularly on Fox Business News, but I always say that, keep in mind, esports is only 1% of the global games market. So if we're looking at 1.65 billion in esports, we're looking at 165 billion in the global game market. And with China being at about 38 million and the US at about 32, I've been told by many people right now that these numbers are small and they're going to continue to get bigger. So we decided to create a network that would speak to that global gamer news market. It was challenging because I did not want it to look, no offense to anybody in the room, but I didn't want it to look like your daddy's ESPN. I don't understand why someone's wearing a suit coat and a jacket and Mickey Mouse ears talking about game news. It made no sense to me. So I decided to go after the one person I knew that, my coach, the one person I knew that might have an idea of what I was going through, and that was the founder of ESPN, Bill Rasmussen. And I, believe it or not, I couldn't find this guy anywhere. I knew he lived in Tampa, but what I did was I tweeted him. And I told him that a really good friend of Boomer's suggested you look at my business platform, and he tweeted me back in 5 minutes. And he's been my advisor ever since. So I figure if I can convince a guy that's 85 years old that started ESPN 40 years ago to take a look at Gamer World News and get it, I might be onto something. So he's one of my trusted advisors now. And I explained to him, too, that part of what I wanted to do in staying away from my dad as ESPN was to create something that a gamer would really appreciate. So we went out, and even if I would have done this, Glenn, quite frankly, 3 years ago, the technology wasn't there. So we went out and we had the opportunity to work with Avid on this technology, which is this X-Sync 2 motion tracking, and then use gamer technology. So we're using a gamer engine, Maestro Unreal Engine, coupled with the Avid technology to get a look, I thought everyone's looking at something, to get a look and feel of a video game environment. And I call it the bunker. We went out to the guys that produced Hunger Games, and we worked with them for weeks and weeks and weeks on what we thought would be a really great set. and then we took that over to Full Metal Jacket, and then that's the result of what you see. If you go to GamerWorldNews.com, we've got 13 channels, from esports to global game news to tech to VR to Girls of the Game, which is one of my passions because I don't think that females are really well represented all over the world for gaming, and yet they represent almost half of the gamers in the world, whether you realize it or not. So, and then we do teams, leagues, and publishers, gossip, rumors, and reviews. I do exclusive interviews. We do tips and tricks. And they're 1.5 minute video news stories, because I feel like this generation of 18 to 35-year-olds, even 12 to 24-year-olds, they don't like to read. They're the ADD generation. You flip through a paragraph and they want to move on. So if that's the kind of news you're looking for, I think it's the future, and I'm hoping that as we move forward, we're taking a whirlwind trip here. We're going around the world starting tomorrow, talking with countries like Japan and the UAE and Greece, etc., because they're very interested in this content. And even if you look at South Korea with something like $23 billion in global game revenue, their esports teams are off the hook. They're the best in the world, and there's a lot of content and a lot of news to be delivered. I think, weekly at this point. I don't think the esports environment is ready for a daily esports news show or a gamer news show, but I do think it is very much something that we could do for a week. And so basically what we did was we put together this 1-minute sizzle that I thought really spoke to who we are, what we do, and what makes us different.
We are Gamer World News, the ultimate go-to source for gamers around the world.
Your #1 global destination for esports and Gamer World News.
I'm Michelle Jubilee.
I'm Andrew Anderson.
And I'm Brian Hanford. We don't just report on esports competition, we have no competition.
We're gamers who know esports.
We're your go-to source,
Unbiased,
Unfiltered.
and available on these platforms.
I'm Jordy Altman.
I'm Sherry Nadal.
I'm Tian Wang.
And I'm Captain Rob. We'll be interviewing players and publishers with lifestyle stories and series.
Exclusive interviews and gossip, rumors, and reviews.
We'll bring you technical expertise and commentary.
With solid critical analysis of esports, professional, competitive, and casual play.
From around the world
to right here at home.
And every universe in between.
This is Gamer World News.
So I went out and casted that. Thank you. Went out and casted that, and 2,400 submissions, and I really went through a lot of gamers and a lot of people pretending to be gamers. So I will tell you that those 7 people I went out to try and find 4, I took 7 because they were so fantastic. Tian Wang, who you see is the Asian kid, he was going to be a doctor, and he is not going to be a doctor anymore. He'd rather report on esports news. His parents are really unhappy with me. Captain Rob, actually, we call him Captain Rob. He actually works for Live Nation, selling ads and interactive ads, and he can't wait to leave. I hope no one from Live Nation's in the room. And I think one of the things that's really cool about what we do is, and this surprised me, and I'm a numbers girl from way back from TV syndication, so we've got a 35% view-through rate. We've got 38% in that 18 to 35-year-old demographic, and we've got a 90% completion rate. And I would say that 90% completion rate is it's only a minute and a half, and I figure if I can keep your eyes for a minute and a half, I'm doing okay. So, and basically, I guess we're focused on these 12 channels, 13 channels. I added what's called Q, College University Esports. I found my first female scholarship for playing esports. I found my first female esports scholarship girl in Missouri Valley College. She's playing Overwatch, getting $60,000 scholarship. Gonna take a career in graphic design unless she decides to go pro, and I think that's really important. So we found all kinds of really cool different stories from around the world, and in terms of monetizing and how we make money, we use an ad stack tech platform with a proprietary player that allows us to go out to endemic and non-endemic publishers, meaning I could be on Variety and Hollywood Reporter one week, and I can be on Team Solomid's website another, or Esports Reporter, or Observer, or even Fox. So it only takes 2 seconds to make a buck. So hopefully you can't click out of that ad in 2 seconds. And I think the future is bigger than we think it is. I think that content is king, and I think that as long as we continue to produce these, short, quick video bits of news, just addressing the entire gamer market, not only esports, but the entire gamer market, I think we're, at the beginning of just an entirely new, biggest sports entertainment vertical you could ever want to participate in.
Let's roll that story.
So we went out and we just, so this is just another clip I just want to show. This is asking for esports contributors from around the world to give us a 1-minute clip, and you'll see how the camera moves in, and this is Brian, Michelle, and Andrew, and it's just how the camera kind of swoops in and moves, and the way it looks. I think it's really unique. I don't think anybody's doing it this way, and take a look.
Gamer World News is looking for contributors from all around the world. Whether you're a professional, competitive, or casual player, we're looking for engaging on-camera gamer correspondents.
That's right. We want to hear from you. So whether you live in Japan or Germany, Canada, or South America, if you think you've got what it takes as a video storyteller and you love esports in the gamer world, send us a video of no more than 1 minute in length. And if your story is chosen, we'll put you on our global network and pay you as a contributor.
This gives us a chance to hear from gamers all over the world. Keep in mind you can send in opinions or reviews or report on any story of interest in the gamer world. Just be professional and make it your best. Send your videos to contributors@gamerworldnews.com. We can't wait to hear from you. But don't make it too good, because I need this job.
So I'd just like to introduce Rob here, who I want to say publicly I could have never done this without him. Not to mention he's an amazing composer, musician, and I never knew I was going to marry the guy that was going to give me all the music I needed for my network, but that's what happened. Guess what, honey? You get to put music behind all this news all over the world for free. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, Rob Rettberg.
Hi. You'll see our set. We shoot at Illuminate Studios in Hollywood, and I started my career at CTV in Canada, and that was 30 years ago. And Gayle came to me with this concept, so I wanted to make sure to make it efficient and make it fast, wanted to go live to a final cut, or at least minimal editing, so that we could really swoop in on the host. So if you'll notice, we partnered with Avid. We use a big green screen. We have 3 different Avid Maestro engines, which have now been upgraded to include Unreal engines, because we wanted to use the engines they use to make games. And Unreal Engine, if you guys don't know about it, it's what helps create the shadows and the details within a set. So if you have water, the set will reflect in the water, etc. It makes it look way better than just a standard green screen. And we use Ultimate 12s to create all the look that we have, which is now even going to improve to a higher depth. Because we really wanted to make the game environment, which we're also going to eventually upgrade to 4K, just look really crisp and clean and look as good, if not better, than a game. So you feel at home being a gamer watching our program. And the Avid X-Sync 2 system that we're using, those are those wacky looking trees on top of the cameras. We had a problem, capturing the motion of the camera positions. The tracking was difficult because the ceiling at Illuminate is over 30 feet high. There's tons of lights that they emit, they're incandescent, so when you dim them a little bit, they put infrared light, which interferes with tracking software. But when we got the Avid system, we tried all the other ones. This particular system, we couldn't get it to fail. They were trying to train us to show us how to correct it if it doesn't track, and we couldn't get it not to track unless we actually took it off the camera, because the cameras are in the ceiling, and those things reflect and capture. So it was a great system for us. I think we got one more shot. Yeah, I'll look at the next shot. That's our crew. So we got a full crew. All our hosts are gamers, and a lot of our crew, heard we were doing it and they wanted to get involved. So half the crew are all gamers at some level. Most of them from Fortnite to just League of Legends, stuff like that. So they all loved being a part of this, and they're very excited too, as we are. But this particular event is more about the monetizing and the expansion of esports, and that's yours. So why don't you finish with a summary of what you're about to do with all the licensing? Oh, yeah.
So basically what we're doing is we're licensing content with various countries, various esports, people in the esports vertical, and I said non-endemic and endemic publications all around the world, which should get us to, I'm going for about 1 billion eyeballs in the next 18 to 24 months, which I actually think is reachable. I used to joke and say if you have a pizza parlor and you get 50, 100 people, 100 pizzas a night, I'll put a TV and monetize in your pizza parlor too, because it's not that difficult to do nowadays with the kind of ad technology. And we've seen programmatic advertising kind of take a slow burn, but in the other countries, like for example, in Dubai, it's just starting. So to have that programmatic ability and then to be able to go out and sell sponsorship and sell, direct sales, it's just really, we're looking at, campaigns with all the Fortune 500 companies that are, eagerly trying to get that 18 to 35-year-old demographic, which, by the way, their disposable income's probably around, $90,000 to $100,000. So we think it's a, global monetization for esports and the gamer world. And I think in terms of the global economy, I have said this on Fox many times now, but I do think it will be part of the 2024 Olympics. I don't think Paris is going to let it not be in the Olympics, because they're going to need it for people to show up, and it'll be the largest. It's going to be the largest, quickest sellout of a stadium probably in the history of the Olympics when they let those tickets go. And I'm going to wrap up. And so anyway, if you have any interest in talking with us about partnering in terms of content, in terms of monetizing, in terms of understanding, that whole esports gamer news world, I'm just Gayle at Gamer World News, pretty easy. So thanks for your time.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.